Hello everyone, hope you are all doing well, and here we are again for another little chat about Formula One. Uh, Today we are exclusively gonna talk about the Mercedes team, all the changes that have been going on recently, and the reason why their dominant era could actually be ending soon. But before we start, I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any Formula One update from this official Formula One vlog. So, where do we start? Uh, well, let's start with the most recent news. It's we heard it last week. Andy Cowell, the head of the engine department at Mercedes, is leaving the team at the beginning of 2021. This could be a very significant move among the Mercedes hierarchy when you consider that the man has been responsible in big part for the dominance of Mercedes since the beginning of the V6 hybrid era in 2014. They've always had a super powerful and reliable engine. Last year, Hamilton did not even have any DNF of all the season. So it just goes to show that they have a reliable car and power unit, and it's not insignificant that Andy Cowell is leaving. Also, when you consider that it's going to take 5 people to replace him. It was already announced who were going to replace him, and it's going to be 5 different people taking care of a small chunk of the work that Andy Cowell used to do. And he justified his choice by saying that, well, he wants to take some time off and maybe do something else. But here's the thing: what if he gets an offer from a big team like Ferrari or Renault, or maybe even Red Bull with Honda? Maybe Honda would want some help with their power unit. This could really change the tide with all the teams, because if the big guy who's responsible for making Mercedes win all these years is leaving the team, why not try making him an offer? And with almost unlimited budget as at the moment for the Ferrari and the Red Bull team, this could be a good time, when you consider that in the upcoming budget cap. The sun is really coming my face now, so I'm sorry. With the upcoming budget cap, there are 3 salary that won't count in the total budget, and the head of power unit department could be one of them, especially since it's not going for the actual car development but for the engine, which was already announced that the engine cost would not really be taken into account for the budget cap. So that's gonna be a big loss for Mercedes for sure. If we go on to some other news, well, more speculation than news. Some of you might have heard in the last few months there were rumors that maybe Toto Wolff would be looking at leaving Mercedes and go to another team, maybe where he could have Some kids are playing, and is she okay? Yeah. Okay. Kid fell and yeah, but she's fine. So yeah, Toto Wolff potentially leaving the Mercedes team for a new challenge. Of course, these are only rumors, but we know that he bought something like 15% of Aston Martin, who's going to be the main sponsor of Racing Point in 2021. He bought some shares at Williams, so two teams that are Mercedes powered at the moment. And you know, he's been at the helm of the Mercedes program for many years now, almost since the beginning. And if he was to leave the team again, that would be a big blow to the face of Mercedes. And he's been the one who's been, you know, bringing this philosophy at Mercedes of always keep doing your best, always keep improving. Don't be worried of making mistake. You are going for the win, because that's what Mercedes is doing. They are going for the win. They're not just trying to be the best by being safe. If you want to be the best, you have to take risk, and Mercedes is doing that. We've seen it the last few years with some audacious strategies to try to make Hamilton or Bottas win races, where, you know, they would probably have been doomed at being in second place if they did not try anything. And worst case, they would have ended up maybe in third place or fourth, but they would have still get some points. And they decided, yeah, to go for the risk-taking strategy, because that's how you win in Formula One. You cannot just sit on your laurels and think that everything will go well. You know, risk big, win big. That's how Formula One works. If you combine these rumors with, last year, the sad departure of Niki Lauda, who passed away just before the 2019 Monaco Grand Prix. Lauda, who was a big part of the Mercedes team too. He was not an active employee, but he was like a very big consultant, and big consultant with Toto Wolff. They were always talking to each other. Niki Lauda was always seen in the paddocks on the grid. So he was part of the team spirit. And maybe, you know, with his departure, maybe even Toto Wolff felt that, you know, something is changing at Mercedes, and he also needs to move on at some point, because what's life without challenge? And if a guy like Toto Wolff decided to go to one of the smaller teams and try to raise them to the top, especially with the budget cap, that could be intriguing. I think he could do that, and that would be a very nice challenge for him. And finally, we also have to keep in mind that neither Lewis Hamilton or Valtteri Bottas has been re-signed for 2021 yet at Mercedes. We don't know who will be driving the Silver Arrow next year, and we are already at the end of June. Hamilton keeps saying that there's no rush. He prefers to get the season underway, and that when the time comes, you know, he will discuss with Toto and see what they can do. Valtteri, he's on a 1-year contract. It's always the same thing. You might be tempted to try something else. Maybe Mercedes are waiting to see if Lewis will stay in Formula One next year before re-signing Valtteri, because that's, one kind of depends on the other, I believe. If Hamilton stays at Mercedes, will Bottas want to stay and potentially stay as a number 2 driver, or try to make a Nico Rosberg of himself and be crazy and finally beat Lewis? And on the other side, if Hamilton was to retire from Formula One, will Bottas want to stay? Because he would be in a championship winning car as the team lead driver, considering that there's no big candidate at Mercedes right now to take an empty seat. Of course, we have Esteban Ocon, who's at Renault and could probably end up at Mercedes under some circumstances. George Russell, still young, but has shown that he can be serious. Sorry for the solar flare. But yeah, Russell has shown that he can be serious in those virtual races the last few weeks. He's won 4 of them in a row and literally dominated them. He's going to be at his second years at Williams with Nicolas Latifi, who's going to probably be a little bit more of a challenge than Kubica. So we'll have a better idea of where he stands, where Russell stands. So, all these factors that are affecting Mercedes right now, the departure of the engine department head, the rumors about Toto Wolff leaving and Niki Lauda passing away last year, as well as the uncertainty about who's gonna drive for Mercedes next year. It's all showing that the tide is slowly shifting at Mercedes. The winds are changing, and of course we're going into the new era of the budget cap. In terms of the engines, we're pretty much locked until 2026, but it does not mean that they won't try to improve. They need a good new engine department leader, because the Ferraris and the Renault of this world will not just stand still. They will improve also on their side and make adjustment to try and finally beat Mercedes this year or even next year. Hopefully this year we'll have some bit of a challenge. So it's tough to say what's gonna happen. We all want to see some challenge. I think it would be nice to have a new world champion for once. But also all credits to Mercedes. I mean, even if they are dominating, they are just showing that they are the best, that they are doing the best work. And that's also what Formula One is about. The best are winning. I'm fine with that in a sense. We cannot complain that it's not fair. It's just one's doing a better job than the other. And that's all there is to it. Thank you guys. Please subscribe. Stay tuned. We're gonna have more Formula One vlog coming real soon. I hope you have a great day, great week, and really looking forward to the beginning of the Formula One season in Austria in less than 2 weeks from now. Cool. Take care.